sly and logical, keen, calculating, perspicacious, acute. I was all of these. My brain was as powerful as a dynamo, precise as a chemist's scale, as penetrating as a scalpel. And think of it, I was only 18. It is not often that one so young has such a giant intellect. Take, for example, Pete Birch, my roommate at the University of Minnesota. Same age, same background, but dumb as an ox. A nice enough fellow, you understand, but nothing upstairs. Emotional type, unstable, impressionable. Worst of all, a faddist.
Oh.
Don't move. Don't take a laxative. I'll get a doctor.
Raccoon.
Raccoon?
I want a raccoon coat.
Why do you want a raccoon coat?
I should have known it. I should have known that they'd come back when Charleston came back. Like a fool, I spent all my money on textbooks. Now I can't get a raccoon coat.
You mean to tell me that the people are wearing raccoon coat again?
All the big men on campus are wearing them. Where have you been?
Library, a place where not frequent by big men on campus.
I've got to have a raccoon coat. I've got to.
Pity, why? Look at it rationally. Raccoon coats are unsanitary. They shed, they smell bad, and they're unsightly.
You don't understand. It's the thing right now. Don't you want to be in the swim?
No.
Well, I'd give anything for a raccoon coat. Anything.
Anything?
Anything.
I had long coveted Polly SB. Let me emphasize that my desire for this young woman was of emotional in nature. She was, to be sure, a girl who excited the emotions, but I was not one to let my heart rule my head. I wanted Polly for a shrewdly calculated, entirely cerebral reason.
Patsy, are you in love with Polly Spy?
I think she's a keen kid. I don't know if you call it love. Why?
Do you have a formal arrangement with her? I mean, are you going steady or what?
No, I see her around quite a bit. But we both have other dates. Why?
Is there anyone whom she shared a particular fondness?
No, not that I know of. Why?
In other words, if you're out of the picture, the field will be open. Is that right?
What are you getting at?
Oh, nothing.
Where are you going?
Home for this weekend.
Hey, while you're home, you couldn't ask your old man for some money and lend it to me so I can buy the raccoon coat.
I may do better than that. Look,
Holy Toledo.
would you like it?
Yes. What do you want for it?
Your girl.
Dobby? You want Polly?
That's right.
No. I can't do it. I'm not gonna do it. No.
Okay, if you don't want to be in the swim, then that's your business.
Oh, I want that goat.
Out of the corner of my eye, I kept watching Pete. He was a torn man. First, he looked at the coat with the expression of a child drooling at a bakery window.
No. Absolutely not. But everyone will have one except for me. I couldn't. It isn't that I was in love with Polly. Or going steady or anything like that.
That's right.
What's Polly to me? What's me to Polly? It's just been a casual kick. Just for laughs, that's all.
Try on a jacket.
Fits fine.
Is it a deal?
Yeah, I think we got a deal.
What are we going to talk about?
Logic.
Gee, sounds magnificent.
Logic is the science of thinking. We can't think correctly if we don't know the common fallacies of logic, and this will take up today. First, let us examine the fallacy called dicto simpliciter.
Ooh, by all means.
Dicto simpliciter means the argument based on unqualified generalization. For example, exercise is good, therefore everybody should exercise.
I agree. I mean, exercise is wonderful. I mean, it builds up the body and everything.
Folly. The argument is fallacy. Exercise is good is an unqualified generalization. For instance, if you have heart disease, exercise is bad, not good. Many people are ordered by their doctors not to exercise. You must qualify the generalization by limiting other in some way. You must exercise usually. Exercise is good for most people. Otherwise, you will commit a dicto simpliciter. Do you see?
No, but this is morbid. Do more.
Very well. Next, we take up a fallacy called hasty generalization. Listen carefully. You can't speak French. Petty Birch can speak French. Therefore, I conclude that nobody in this University of Minnesota can speak French.
Really? Nobody? Wow.
Polly, it's a fallacy. The generalization has reached too hastily. There are two examples to support this conclusion.
Oh, no any more fallacies? This is even more fun than dancing.
Next comes post hoc. Listen to this. Let's not take Bill on our picnic. Every time we take him out, it rains.
I know somebody just like that. A girl at home, Beulah Becker. It never fails. Every single time you take her to a picnic.
Polly, it's a fallacy. Beulah Baker doesn't cause the rain. She has no connection with the rain. The fact that the two events happen right after the other is due to chance, not cause. You are guilty of post hoc if you blame Beulah Baker.
Promise, I'll never do it again. Are you mad at me?
No, Polly, I'm not mad.
Then, tell me some more fallacies.
Alright, let's try contradictory premises. Premises are the basic assumption on which we base the argument. They are the argument's foundation. As it were, here's an example of contradictory premises. If God can do anything, He can make a stone so heavy that He won't be able to lift.
Of course.
But if He can do anything, He can lift the stone.
Well, then I guess He can't make a stone that heavy.
But He can do anything.
I'm all confused.
Of course you are. Because when the premises of an argument contradict each other, there can be no argument. If suppose that there is such thing as irresistible force, there can be no thing as an immovable object. If there is an immovable object, there can be no irresistible force. Get it?
Sure, whatever you say. Tell me more about this green stuff.
Let's call it a day. I'll take you home right now, and you go over all the things you've learned today. We'll have another session tomorrow.
Great. I've had a perfectly terrific day.
Polly, our fast fallacy today is called ad misericordiam.
A miserable accordion.
Close enough. Now listen, a man applies for a job. When the boss asks him what his qualifications are, he replies that he has a wife and 6 children at home. The wife is a helpless cripple and the children have nothing to eat. No clothes to wear, no shoes in their feet. There is no bed in the house, no coal in the cellar, and winter is coming.
Oh, that is awful. Awful.
Yes, it's awful, but it's no argument. The man never answers the boss' questions about his qualification. Instead, he appealed to the boss' sympathy. He committed the fallacy of ad misericordiam. Do you understand?
Have you got a handkerchief?
Next, we will discuss false analogy. Here is an example. Students should be allowed to look at their textbook during examination. After all, surgeons have x-rays to guide them during the operation. Lawyers have brief to guide during the trial. Carpenters have blueprints to guide when they are building house. Why then should the student be allowed to look at the books or textbook during examinations?
There now. That is the most morbid idea I've heard in years.
Polly, the argument is all wrong. Doctors, lawyers, and carpenters are taking a test, see how much they've learned, but students are. The situation are altogether different. You can't make an analogy between them.
I
still think it's a good idea.
Nuts. Well, next week, let's try hypothesis contrary to fact.
Ooh, sounds yummy.
Listen, if Madame Curie had not happened to leave photographic plate in the drawing with a chop of peach blend, the world today would not know about radium.
That is so true. Have you seen the movie? That water pigeon is so dreamy. I mean, he fractures me.
If you can forget Mr. Pigeon for a moment, I would like to point out that that statement is a fallacy. Maybe Madame Curie would have discovered the radium at some later dates. Maybe somebody else would have discovered it. Maybe any number of things would have happened. You can start a hypothesis that is true and then draw any logical conclusion from it.
They ought to put water pigeon in more pictures. I hardly ever see him anymore.
Okay, let's try this one more time. The next fallacy is called poisoning the well. Two men are having a debate. The first one gets up and says, "My opponent is a notorious liar." You can't believe a word that he's going to say. Now, Polly, think hard. What's wrong?
Huh? It's not fair. It's not a bit fair. What chance has the second man got if the first one man calls him a liar before he even starts talking?
Right, 100% right. It's not fair. The first man has poisoned the well before anybody could drink from it. He has hamstrung his opponent before he could even start. Polly, I'm proud of you.
Aww.
You see, my dear, these things aren't so hard. All you have to do is concentrate, think, examine, evaluate.
Fire away.
Polly, today we'll not discuss about logical fallacies.
Oh, gee.
My dear, we have spent 5 days together. We have gotten along splendidly. It's clear that we are well matched.
Has a generalization. How can you say we're a match on the basis of just 5 days?
My dear, 5 days are plenty. After all, you don't have to eat a whole cake to know if it's good.
False analogy. I'm not a cake. I'm a girl.
Polly, I love you. You are the whole world to me. And the moon and the stars and the constellation of outer space. Please, my darling, say that you will not go. Steady with me, for if you will not, my life will be meaningless. I will languish. I will refuse my meals. I will wander the face of the earth. A shamble, hollowed eye, book.
Add Mr. Cordian.
Well, Polly, you certainly have your policies. Yes, indeed.
You're darn right.
And who taught them to you? Polly?
You did.
That's right. So you do owe me something, don't you, my dear? If I hadn't come along, you never would have learned about fallacies.
Hypothesis contrary to fact.
Polly, you must not take this all so literally. I mean, this is just classroom stuff. You know that things are learned in school.
Dicto simpliciter.
Ah! I can't take this anymore, Polly. Will not go steady with me?
I will not.
Why not?
Because this afternoon, I promised Vicky Birch that I'd go steady with him.
The rat? You can't go with him. Polly, he's a liar. He's a cheat. He's a rat.
Poisoning the well? And stop shouting. I think shouting should be a fallacy too.
Alright. You're a logician. Let's look at these things logically. How could you choose Pity Birch over me? Look at me. A brilliant student. A tremendous intellectual. A man with an assured future. Look at Pity. A knothead. A chitty burk. A guy who'll never know where his next meal is. Can you give me a logical reason why you should go steady with Pity Birch?
Oh, I certainly can. He's got a raccoon coat.